Hi, welcome back. So we are in chapter 4 FSP VO1 project. In this chapter, we will be looking at number of outlines to cover the second project we intend to design throughout this book. The first will be looking at the project introduction in general, then we'll be looking at the workflow of the project, and finally the project execution. Let's go ahead and review the introduction of the project. Now, essentially, the idea of this project, particularly interested in the field of finance, where there are numerous amount of solutions been actually developed over the years for this particular field of research, and that is finance and economy. To this end, I have chosen to actually create kind of a diagnostic tool again for finance to actually do prediction or sort of analysis on the stock market movement. We have, first of all, to create or establish the research and the research question and what we are trying to do. It's not only designing a bunch of graphs, put them on a screen, but actually we want a strategy, so to speak. Well, to this end, I think we need a specific example to work on after we design the actual framework. Let's go ahead now and try to discuss what are the strategy or what is the research problem. From there, we can establish an idea. What does a stock market mean? Well, the idea is there is a company, and this company has a sort of global market share. That means this company offers what's called number of shares to be sold. And that's why this company becomes sort of a public company. Of course, there are a number of regulations and there are a number of rules govern such movement. Now, the idea is when those shares are available to the public to buy and trade them on that particular market, the price of this share particularly could go up and could go down. Say, for example, if this company offering to sell one share for a price of 1, whatsoever the currency is, right? So if the demand on this number of shares that are available for the company increase, that means the potential for this one to go up is that much percentage. If the demand on those shares that the company is offering could go down, that means the price of that share or the one could go down from there. So the idea from here is this motion of going up or going down, it is the actual research focus, so to speak. Unfortunately, the many people try to speculate in a different way about this motion of movement to go up or to go down. There is no, so far, a certain mechanism could really guarantee the actual motion of this to happen, because you could see the complexity of the problem. This circle that we are trying to work on, it is not governed only by the company performance or by the sector where the company comes from, but it is governed by a whole lot of complex environment factors that include international, global, local, economy contributions. There are many factors. So the strategy that we need to work on, we have to be realistic. Now, before I tell you what kind of a strategy I have personally proposed over the time, and even I have written actually an academic paper to actually present that proposal, I would like to tell you what kind of a strategy are available. Now, it could be a number of strategy if you want for somebody to get into that business. The first, basically, we have a long-term strategy. What does long-term means? That, as the name is implicating, that means you have a very long time of bet on a certain share. That could be years, though. Well, the second could be a kind of a medium investment strategy. That means not too long, not too short, maybe in span of weeks or months. And the last one is to have a short-term strategy. Well, when it comes to short-term strategy, as the name is indicating, perhaps could be days, weeks, or even maybe hours. Depends on the strategy you're trying to adopt. You have to understand, again, the market very well. I'm not here to teach you how actually economy or stock market works exactly, but I'm here to share with you a proposal where we can assume a certain strategy and then we put things together and try to execute that strategy. I have never been a big fan of a long-term strategy when it comes to trading with such a business model, neither a very strong hold on medium kind of term strategy, but I could involve with the experience of personal knowledge on mathematics and also economy and finance in general, assuming a short-term strategy. There are 5 days of trading. Those 5 days, it has an open hour and it has a closing hour. And within this period of time, the trade is open. This motion of occurrence will be happening. So the price will be going up and down. We are trying to anticipate the actual motion of this particular graph. The idea here, if I want to take the technicality per se, you see I have a time range. We want to look at magnitude of lengths at each and every step here. Design a strategy by looking at each one of these before they even occur and assume the motion of the graph, then that will be interesting. Meaning to say, imagine I start at this point. So there is a minute coming. I would have 3 possible motion that might happen in the following 60 seconds. The first one, that the price would go up from this point. This is my indicator. The second, that the price might go down. And the third, that the price will stay where it is from that point. So we have 3 possible things might actually occur. Well, which one of them, there is a certain probability that we want actually to work on. This is the framework. Most likely your accuracy would be quite a bit questionable because there are many factors. As we said, this is a kind of environmental contribution. It could be also another factor. So it's very, very hard to say. But we are trying to buy time. That's why we are dealing with a 60-second span. 60 seconds could even chop to milliseconds. But the idea is in there. The framework is in there. So it's quite slow and long, actually. 60 seconds seems to be fast, but it isn't in this kind of business. 60 seconds is a long time. Well, to do that, this is where we need the AI model. Tell me which company you're talking about. Tell me what is the point where we are starting right now from my historical understanding or the real model that I have. And I will actually suggest which one have much more probable actions to occur. Let's take the whole day example. Now, in a whole day movement, what is happening actually? An open price, and then I would have had a closing price. Also, like say, range of exchange. And in the middle of so, I could actually record the highest price and the lowest price. This is a 1 day historical price motion, including these 5 basic indicators, dropping out every other factor. There are many other factors you could think of. Same thing you could have for the other days and so on and so forth. These exist because they happen. And I am in this day of today. But my open will be obviously is the close of the previous day. There is a motion of looking this here will come to indicate for you a certain shape. I know what my open would look like, but I don't know what my close would look like. Maybe I don't know also my range what would look like. And also, of course, I can not anticipate 100% what is my highest and low. What we have here, these 5 attributes, a small dot of a bigger circle. That's why those prices that we see graphed here actually conceal a lot of data. This is where my suggestion, if we could create kind of a database, I call it a fingerprint. What I mean with the fingerprint, it's a sort of a matrix, whatsoever you call it. And this fingerprint will indicate the actual identity of this company. What is inside this fingerprint? There are a tensor of information. Number 1, for example, could include the historical motion of the price. And then you have the local market in general. For example, this company, is it traded on Istanbul stock market? Is it going good or not? You have information about the global market. What is the global market like? Is there a global concern like the pandemic, for example, was a global issue? It's not only concerning a certain region or country. You've got the sector status. For example, if this company belongs to a transportation company, what is this transportation sector performance looks like? And you have to see as many that is available as possible. Now, according to a personal effort, you could actually get this information quite a bit easy with a little bit of research. Now, here is the interesting part, what I am suggesting and what do I mean with a fingerprint. If I pull out this information and I structure them in a certain way, they would look like, to me, a tensor of information. So you have all these information stacked on top of each other in a certain way that tells you what actually the actual performance of or the image of this company. Now, this tensor, it's my research or my actually proposal contribution. I took this one step further by converting this into an image. So this image would look like a barcode, so to speak, represent the identity of the company. And this image will be in a constant change over the time, because local market with the news that you tapping on could change. The historical information on a daily basis is changing. The finance every 3 or 4 months period is it changing. So this image will be in a constant change. And finally, what I could say, I could design attribute or a measurement to say, well, the performance of this image, it could be one of the three. Could be potentially good, could be only good, and could be warning. These gonna be my labels in this case. This is the suggestion. Now, if I do this for some time, I would have finally come up with number of images, maybe could be segregated only by sectors, and then I can do analysis on that to prove my theory. So that's why I'm saying this is my proposal, but it needs capacity establishment, needs time, and needs to be proven that it works exactly as I am saying here. But this is a proposal, and this is an idea in general. Now, in this application, I will not be able, of course, to execute this just with even as a cartoon or as a proposal. I just wanted to share with you the general idea. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually take the idea of a fingerprint and only one particular element of this long list, that is to create actually this historical or whatever historical data I have it available. Take these historical data which are available actually, and from there try to create a kind of a list, would look like this, and convert it into an image. So I'm going to do this, not exactly per se, I'm not going to do any actually kind of a predictive model on that, but I will create this image into an eye model that could be an observer. It could be a diagnostic for a certain company. So then we choose a market. Let's say, for example, I in this application will be working on Istanbul stock market. It's where I am from. So we could like pull all the information about the available company and sectors of Istanbul stock market, pick one company, and we are interested to trade on that company, take that company, and then try to create a fingerprint, a particular image. And to prepare that fingerprint is the actual work of the AI. We needed to design that one. But this tool will not be precisely going to do that, because we need a lot of actually resource to do so. That's why I decided just to work on whatever available historical information that we have. Let's go ahead now and actually start to talk about the actual implementation or the workflow of the project, as we have just proposed the general idea. That's exactly what we're going to be doing next. I will see you then.